What's up, boys? I'm assuming you guys already know what we're about to talk about, seeing that, Nickmercs is in the title and thumbnail. Go ahead, drop a comment. What's your guys' opinion on it? I want to know. It doesn't matter if you do or do not believe in, the topic. So, for some reason, Nickmercs decided to revisit the trans argument because he was stuck on an Elden Ring boss. Of all things, to break your peace. Alright, this man had peace. No one was saying anything, and now, after he, was called out for being stuck on a Elden Ring boss, he decided, you know what? I'ma say it, boys. There is no such thing as trans people.
Nick, the transphobe struggling against the trans game. There's no such thing as trans people. That's something that you created. So have fun with your little dreamland, but that shit's not even real. Let me break it down for you, right? Penis. Dude, vagina, girl, done. Come in here with that fucking
I don't think Nickmercs realizes that normal transgender people transition between the two genders that we have, male and female. Ain't no one out here becoming an AC-130, my guy. We all can agree that if someone's like, I want to become a cat, alright, my guy. Now you're doing too much. Like, I can see why someone would want to become like a female or a male. Like, I guess I can see that, but like, you want to actually become an animal? Like, that's not even a gender. That's a whole different species. And then Nickmercs made an amazing point after this clip, saying that not everyone has to live in the same fantasy land and the same dream that other people's do.
People that disagree and people that agree, I don't care about the percentages or the cuts or whatever. It doesn't bother me. I feel a certain way about all that. And I've said my piece, and I will remind these fucking people that, again, the little dream fantasy bullshit that they're living in is not real life, and not everybody has to dance to their tune. That's not how that works. You don't get to go around and point your finger in people's chests and say, hey, you live in my world. You think the way that I think. You believe the way that I believe. No. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. It never has been, and it never will be. So if you guys want to live like that, go ahead. Do what you want to do. Not me. And I don't need people to agree with me. I don't need no echo chamber bullshit. This is the way that my wife and I feel. This is the way that my family feels, the people that are closest to me. And we're going to speak our fucking piece. And that's it. And it might be a thing that goes around, like, look, it's June. I get it, man. Everybody's like, woo. I mean, I don't fucking care.
I ain't even gonna lie. Nickmercs probably is traumatized from the last time he was called out because there was a lot of legitimate people that were just being, dumbasses. They were just being assholes. That were just being rude to him for, him sharing his opinion. And if someone's gonna be like that, you're probably just gonna start being an asshole back. I 100% understand that. But boys, let me just remind you guys that this whole rant from Nickmercs started because someone pointed out that Nick was struggling at a game where there are legit bosses that go from male to female throughout the fight. Like, they legit go from one gender to another gender in a video game, a literal fantasy land. He is literally playing a fantasy video game, and he couldn't handle the comment of someone making a light jab at him saying that he was essentially bad at the video game. But back to the Nickmercs talking about people living in a fantasy land and that in real life things are different, quote unquote. I think he doesn't realize that the opposite also works for him. Not everyone has to live by your rules. Not everyone has to think there's no such thing as transgender people, or there's no such thing as X, Y, and Z, whenever in reality, there's probably a spectrum between it. There's probably some people that, believe, yeah, between male and female, I can see why someone would want to become a female, especially like an ugly ass dude. I could definitely see why. You're just ugly as shit. And then there's also people where they're like, no, you have to deal with the body parts you're given. I'm like, I can see that, but whenever you're like, no, I can never understand why someone would want to become the other gender, that's whenever you like lose all sense of reality. It's like, really? This man streamed on Twitch. We have seen female creators get away with way more than anything a male creator could get away with and become rich and famous off of it. But on the other side of that, as a male creator, if you're able to break through the seemingly impossible to break through barrier of getting any kind of following on any platform, The sky is your limit. Like, you can essentially be one of the biggest creators on earth. You don't even have to do much. Like, let's all be honest here. Look at like people like Penguin Zero. The man literally just speaks into the mic once a day, you know. I'm not saying he's a bad person or his content is, you know, trash, but there's tons of smaller creators that deserve his fame over him. Like, I'm just saying, it's me, I deserve it. All right, give me your like and subscriptions right now. It's me, I deserve it. You can do like the most mundane thing as a male creator, and if you're able to break through that slight, almost impossible ceiling, you don't have to do anything. So it makes sense that some misguided person will see the other gender do something and realize that as the gender that they are, they're not really able to do that or as good as the other person, and they'll be like, I want to do that. Like, the logic makes sense. Like, it's not like an irrational or illogical thing. The logic makes sense of why someone would want to transgender. And some people just feel like they're a woman. I feel like we have gay people that act like females. It's not like we don't have the already established like community of people that already show, yeah, some people just enjoy being more feminine and some people just enjoy being more masculine. I'm like, come on, Nickmercs. You don't think some people might think in their head that the grass is greener on the other side and that they would like to experience life on the other side? Now, obviously, if someone's in Nickmercs chat saying that he's a transphobe, it's obviously a joke. Alright, boys, how about we call it spade a spade? If I don't like someone, I'm most likely not going to be in their chat speaking to them, trying to get their attention. Well, there are a few people that will do that, but for the most part, you could just block them out if you want to. And I would assume, with the comment being Nick the transphobe struggling to beat the trans game, he probably was a longtime viewer that enjoyed Nick's stream. I'm just saying here, boys. But for some reason, Nickmercs couldn't have taken the joke as a haha, light punch, light jab, hey man, I'm the transphobe, ha ha ha. Who cares? But no, he couldn't do that. He had to make sure his stance was known that the liberal state wants you to believe that there's trans people. I can't believe you actually thought that there's a real thing, even though everyone's like, bro, calm down, Nick. It's called a joke, brother. Brother, why are you disturbing your own peace? He has no reason to even say any of this. He could ignore the comment altogether. Like, this is literally a ignore the comment. I'm gonna stay peaceful. I'm gonna remain, you know, myself, gonna remain humble. I'm gonna be like, hey man, shut the fuck up. Get banned. I hate your jokes. Something else. But he just had to let him know before he most likely got banned, because people like Nickmercs gets their feelings hurt so easy. Just little fragile little egos. It's so weird whenever someone becomes a multi-millionaire. Their egos just go to the moon. And as soon as you tap it, it just falls over and crumbles, and it reveals this ugly monster that was never them before, because before this, Nickmercs was a cool guy. If you said anything about trans people, he would be like, oh man, you know, just do your thing, bro. I don't care. Just, hey man, just stay away from me. Who cares? Now this man has to make sure the liberals are out here trying to make sure that you want to die from transphobic shit. Like, it makes no sense. All the man had to do was just sit there and continue to play his game, and he would have peace, instead of Twitter now having him trending with everyone correctly saying, why would you even say this? Like, I understand if in your head there's no such thing as trans people, there's no such thing as transphobes. Alright, cool. But what was the point of saying it out loud whenever all you had to do to remain, you know, the cool guy? Because I'm gonna be honest, after the last transphobic little drama he got into, I was on his side. I was like, I guess, yeah, leave the kids alone. Yeah, I'm like, don't teach people's kids things that they don't need to be taught. That made sense to me. But then he decided to disturb his own peace and be like, oh yeah, I also hate anybody that's trans. There's no such thing as trans anyway, because the liberal state, like, you could have just kept your mouth shut. You're literally running your mouth for no reason. This man literally is just like digging his own grave for no reason. All you have to do is just sit there, earn your millions of dollars, and say nothing, because your word carries no weight. It's not like you're changing policies out here. You're not the governor, all right? You saying this doesn't sway anyone to one side. It doesn't sway anyone else that was not on your side to go away. You're literally preaching to the choir. This man is a multi-millionaire living in a literal $1 million house, and he's complaining to his echo chamber. You're literally the person you're calling out. You're not helping anyone. All you're doing is hurting your own base because you're not even trying to get like a simple dialogue out there to be like, hey man, I don't believe in this, but if someone wants to talk about it, sure, we can talk about it. Because the man literally lives in a fantasy land of his own making. He can surround himself with anyone he wants to surround himself with. He's not like us actual normal human beings who have to go out into the workforce and actually interact with people who we would probably never want to interact with, and then we realize, oh, this is a pretty cool person. Like, yeah, they may be a little quirky, but I'd be like, yo, this person's pretty cool. Nickmerc doesn't have to do that. Nickmerc ain't gotta go outside into the actual real world and then actually have real world consequences. He doesn't have the same consequences as a normal human being because he's literally above this. He's literally above the consequences that us normal people have to actually live through. We literally don't know how it feels to actually be Nickmercs unless you're already a multimillionaire that has to do nothing for the rest of your life. If you're already that, then you know exactly how he feels. You don't need to do anything. You can say whatever you want because you have no consequences to your actions. It's not even that. He's just like, oh yeah, for some reason I just have this weird hate. I just can't be a normal person. I just have to hate something I don't understand. Like, I was on his side before, but now I'm just like, brother, what are you being an asshole for? You're not even helping anyone out. But he's probably just like Synthetic Man. For some reason, they have this weird little hate in their heart that they think they're going to be the last of their kind. Synthetic Man thinks he's going to be the last white man ever, and Nickmercs thinks he's going to be the last straight man ever. You know what? Maybe they should collaborate. Also, click this video right here to figure out why is Synthetic Man trying his best to not be a normal human being and to live in his own fantasy land, just like Nickmercs. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, boys.